is day 2 of recording my vlog, I suppose, video blog of just my life, I suppose, or whatever I need to talk about. I thought about something in class today, so I just had microbiology class today. It started at 9:35, or no, 9:10, and it ended at 10:30. So I'm about 20 minutes away from my drive. I drive 40 minutes, so 20 minutes to my house, 20 minutes from school right now. But yeah, I had microbiology, and I thought of something in class I wanted to talk about on my video, and now I don't remember. Let me think about it. I don't know. I shouldn't have started the video if I didn't have it on the top of my mind. Dadgummit. Well, I don't really want to do editing, so but yeah, class was good. I sat in the very back next to all the other guys that are chill or whatever, and all the girls in the front. It's really funny how college works like that, where like all the guys in the back. But it was all right. The teacher went on a rant for about 10 minutes about just radio waves. Like it's a biology class, and she's talking about, she's trying to talk about like microscopes or something and their waves, but she just got off topic and started talking about physics. So that was cool. I don't know. I'll cut this part of the video out because I'm gonna give me a thing real quick. I can't think of it. I can't remember what it was. Okay, well that's too bad. Anyhow, I got a Zoom call at 3:55 today for calculus. I'm a little nervous about it. I hope I do good and all that. I know for a fact I can pass all these classes. Passing, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It's the aspect of I'm trying to get that 4.0, and you know that's a little bit more of a challenge with 18, 20 credit hours, whatever you got going on. But I know, but we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. I passed a semi about 3 miles back or so, and or 5 miles back or so. And I got way far ahead of him, but now I just had to stop because a guy in front of me was turning and couldn't turn for about a minute. So that's unfortunate. Somebody's almost catching up to me. What a waste of gas. I don't know. I still be thinking about just when I drive, I listen to music and I'll think of something in my head. Writing a book, I think about that often. Like, not write the aspect of writing the book, but I think about, what would I write about if I wrote a book? And sometimes I think of something really, like, I think it's intelligent. Because it's so hard to find the next new thing, because I think everyone, like, people have been writing books for thousands of years or whatever. So it's like, how have they not at some point covered the topic? And that's actually a topic in of itself, is there's so many times where I'm sure that, like, a story that was written, The Most Dangerous Game, for example. Okay, that was a book written, I don't know if that was the late 1800s or the early 1900s that it was written, but I am sure that premise of an idea, kind of, maybe not on the island, but a game or a story just like that was written probably 1,000 years ago about, like, some guy saying some corrupt king, I'm sure some dude wrote that, and it just got lost in time, and we don't talk about it anymore because there's so many things we're probably losing. I'm sure there's songs that we sing nowadays that have the same melodies or just the same, a beat that existed or was written 1,000 years ago, and now we're just rediscovering it because it got lost in time. Another crazy thing is, like, the Library of Alexandria that burnt down, that made us literally lose all of our Earth's history, which is so crazy to think about how, like, people want to say that's awful. I would imagine if we had that power, and I'm going to totally go off topic from what I want to talk about, if we had that power to have that knowledge that we had, whenever, I would imagine we'd be way more advanced right now than we are. Like, to the point where I'm sure we would have nuked ourselves to smithereens 500 years ago, or 1,000 years ago, whenever the Library of Alexandria burnt down. And another thing is, I think it would supply a lot of proof to, like, it would have told us about giants, and probably talked about just biblical stuff that we now are nipping at the bits to try and find out if it's true. I'm sure it documented all sorts of things of the old world before, AD. So, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it kind of sucks to think about, oh man, all the pieces of knowledge that we lost. But it's like, it was God's will that stuff got burned down. It was His will that we lost all that information. Because I can't imagine where we'd be right now, being all the years advanced. They talk about there's this one guy who, I'm trying to think who it was. So in my microbiology class, they're actually talking a bunch about like guys who discovered the microbes for the first time in like the 1600s or 1700s. There was the Leeuwenhoek guy, I think his name is something Leeuwenhoek, and he like sees tiny little microbe guys that he called like animalcules or something of that sort. And it's like there was some guy in the 1400s or 1300s that kind of speculated the idea, what happens if there's tiny little things that make us sick and all that, tried to generate the idea of bacteria, while before, in those thick times, like they were like, oh, bacteria is caused by demons. If you have a headache, cut that crap open. There were surgeries that we see that actually saw signs that the people would recover, and it was like one of the first forms of surgery was like holes in their heads, that they would literally like grab probably a deer bone or something, and then a mount, and just like chip around and make a little circle. And I'm sure it was caused for people who had consistent migraines or something, because they believed that they had like evil spirits in their head, that's what they were trying to get out. And so they would do that surgery. And I'm trying to think what that surgery was called. I can't think of it. But just the same, then now we have a new age version, which is a little more clean cut, but it's bloodletting, where they literally, oh, you're sick? Let's just drain that evil blood or that bad blood. You have too much blood, and you have. Some people saw it as, oh, it was like you had evil blood. While I'm sure a lot of physicians saw it as like, you have an imbalance of blood in your body that's causing you sickness. George Washington, for example, had a throat infection, and they bloodlet the crap out of him. And quite frankly, I'm pretty sure it's said that if they hadn't done that at all, and they literally just let him be, he would have survived. But they really killed him because they drained out all of his white blood cells through his blood, and then he died. So it's unfortunate. Same with I don't know if it was Garfield. I think it was Garfield, President Garfield, who was assassinated. He got shot, or was that McKinley? I think it was either McKinley or Garfield, I'm not certain, was shot, and quite frankly, he probably would have survived, but because we didn't have the medical knowledge, they just like went through with little jabbies and didn't clean them, didn't have clean things, so they didn't really like know the idea of like, oh, we should probably wash off this bacteria. And they were just poking around all inside him trying to get that bullet out or whatever, and got him even worse infected. So he might have survived that had they not just done all that stupid stuff. So be happy that we are in an age where we have, medical help. Medical procedures actually do help us most of the time. I will say there's a lot of arrogant doctors out there who actually don't know much about like some major topics, I suppose. Like they just think they know everything, and unfortunately they don't. I mean, my microbiology teacher was talking about how she had, some problem, and she was talking about Staphylococcus aureus, which causes all these sorts of things. I looked it up, and it causes pneumonia. Like further down the road, it causes pneumonia. There's some base level like skin issues that it could cause, and sepsis. And like she talked to her dermatologist about this, who's supposed to, you think they know about that, because staph infection, like that's all, I'm pretty sure that's a dermo disease or a dermo issue a lot of the time. And it's like she didn't know anything, or the dermatologist didn't know anything about it, and it's just like, so I just treated myself. So that's kind of crazy, but I don't know. Yeah, modern medicine's come a long way, God bless. But still, there's a lot of arrogant doctors out there who definitely need humble, because they think they know everything, and they don't. But I don't know. I'm trying to become a dentist right now, so I just really hope I'm humble. My father's a real humble veterinarian for a guy who I think you have to be really intelligent to be a vet and do, you're literally designed to do surgery on every animal, every part of an animal, while humans have literally a certain surgeon who only does surgeries on the big toe or something. It's like, and they studied 10 years in college just to stick in, be like, oh, yep, your toe's good, whatever. So, anyway, back to the micro thing. Yeah, that one guy, I'm sorry, I have to backtrack way back now. The one guy who, gave the idea, that there's tiny little microbes in, the 1300s. They hung that guy and burned him. They thought he was, insane or a witch or something. They thought he was crazy. Set back modern medicine by, hundreds of years now. Researchers saying if we knew that, how far advanced we would be in our medicine, having known that. But it's you know what? Life's been good. Life's good for me. Life has been good. 100 years ago, I'm sure there was a lot of guys who said life's good. And there was people who had, medical issues back then who I'm sure at the same time said life wasn't good. And now people still say life isn't good. Just depends who you are. But no matter what, there will always be problems in this world, I believe. I mean, I could keel over and have a stroke right now. Unfortunately, it's just the way life goes. I mean, but I don't know. As much as we want to say, propagate, what happens if we had the ability to go back and save the thing, the Library of Alexandria? It's all this stuff, and it's no, because life's good right now. Why would we want to change it? They say, I'd go back and I would kill Hitler, and it's why would you kill Hitler? It sounds crazy to say this. But if you kill Hitler, what happens if another German dictator or another dictator of another country that Hitler apparently killed and stopped from happening did worse? He actually was able to formulate a plan that was able to take over America and the whole world and own it and create their genius race of whatever they believed was the perfect race, or maybe it was, we don't know. And it's if we're happy right now, if I am happy right now, me personally, and it sounds super selfish, if I'm happy right now, then why would I do that? If I am content with my life right now, quite frankly, I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because you run the risk. Now you could say, but at the same time, maybe a better leader stood up and made Germany the best place and saved all these people and created a new order of policies and just politics that made government so much better and more organized, and a pure, better government that wasn't so corrupt. Yeah, I don't know, but it's just, if life's good right now for most people, it's just scary taking that risk. I don't know. Also, they say, I will say, I think about this one. Nikola Tesla, where he would be if Thomas Edison didn't suppress so many of his ideas. I don't know. They work together. I need to research before I really talk on the topic. But I know Nikola Tesla and I think Thomas Edison kind of worked together. But Thomas Edison was the businessman. Really, Thomas Edison was not that incredible of an inventor. He's seen as one. But quite frankly, I think many times he would just steal his students' designs and make money on them. Either steal them or he would give them credit, but literally wipe their name of the credit, but still have it there to make it look like, I did it. And it's the student, master gets all the credit for the student's work or whatever. No, because I know Nikola Tesla, he wanted free energy. And there's stories. There's stories. I don't know if I believe in him trying to invent time traveling devices. That one's a little absurd. I don't believe time travel can exist. Don't believe it ever has existed. I don't believe it ever will exist. It just doesn't make sense that it could. Why? Because if it does exist out in the future, that person would have came back. And I believe that if you go back in time, you literally can't. You recreate history. Whoops. If you go back in time, you recreate history no matter what and completely change up the time period. That whole joke, this time traveler kicked a rock. It's if you kick a rock, and that rock so happens to pass in the road 1,000 years ago. I go back in time and I kick a rock. And this is going to be a crazy story now. Hold on. I kick a rock. And that rock knocks another rock that is on the road. And a horse steps on that rock. And that horse says, ow! And it knocks off the person riding. There's a person riding this horse. And it knocks that person off, kills that person. That person now, 1,000 years ago, and think every 100 years, like what? At that time, people were having kids at like 20 or 25 or something. Let's say 4 generations per 100 years. That means 4 generations, 1,000. And that's just, that's hard to do the math. I'm not smart enough. But that's like, that could be, maybe I'm stupid for saying this, maybe millions. But just, okay, let's even say that affects 1,000 people, which it certainly doesn't. It certainly goes way bigger than that. It affects 1,000 people. And think of those 1,000 people who met with other thousands of people and bred with them, or kicked a stone that caused timeline changes in history and everything. And it's like the minorest little thing will change history indefinitely. The chances, ones if I kicked a stone and that caused, and this one's insane, caused a person who was like, oh, I'm planning on making love tonight or whatever, and they decide to make love an hour late, so a different sperm creates a different person and creates all this personality changes, and we no longer have a great leader, or whatever you say, you go back in time, you will change time no matter what, completely. A full reset, which is why I don't believe time travel can exist, because I believe that if you even minorly change time, then you change the time of time traveling, which means it's a paradox. Because let's say Nikola Tesla did invent time travel, I change time, I use his invention, I go back in time, I kick a rock, Nikola Tesla doesn't exist. 100%, I believe if I go back in time and I just blow air, or flick a rock at someone else, completely changes the course of history, and he no longer exists. So I don't know. Anyway, that is my, I'll get off my soapbox. I just spontaneously started yapping a bunch, but I thank you for hearing me. I'm going to post these 2 videos to YouTube probably today. I'll date the first YouTube video from yesterday, because I haven't gotten that one out yet, but I will. Okay, that's good.